Hi, this is Flash of the Daily Drive. Employees versus subcontractors. So, what's the difference? The difference is an employee is considered to be working for you only, working for you full-time or part-time. You're responsible for workers' comp on them. You're responsible for paying payroll taxes, so there's a lot of responsibilities on your part for employees as far as time worked, the amount of time between breaks. There's a lot of stipulations and a lot of hoops that you have to jump through when you're carrying employees. Now, if you are dictating everything about their job and what they do when they show up, you are their employer. There are some guidelines as to who is an employee versus a subcontractor or a 1099 employee. So you're as a handyman, you've got, you're working out in the field. You're not, you don't have guys showing up and working in your building or in your office. They're all going out and doing their own jobs, and you're not there supervising them most of the time because they're going to go out to clients' houses, and unless you're doing a big project, in which case you could get into, more of an employee situation. But as far as what's easier for a handyman, what's easier is to have all of your guys, whether it's 1 or 10 or 20 or whatever, all of your guys as subcontractors, letting them make their own hours, deciding, when they show up, when they don't, who they're going to work for, having a system that allows them that freelance, that ability to do their own jobs. That's always worked best for me. And, I have a scheduling system to where people can go on and request a certain person, or, they can, promote your business and promote their own skills through you. And that way they are controlling their schedule. They're controlling, what they do, when they do, and how they do it. And that makes them a subcontractor in, according to the IRS. And that's a lot easier because then you're not having to take care of payroll taxes, and you're not under the microscope when it comes to, all of their, the other stipulations as far as their work and their breaks and everything like that, and carrying workers' comp on them. And so if you're in a situation where you can just bring in guys to do work for you as needed, then I'm going to always recommend that, because it's going to be a lot easier for you, and you're not going to have to get into all the other issues that go along with hiring employees. Because of the nightmares involved in that, a lot of handymen choose to just be a single man operation. The problem with that is that, it's really hard for an individual to really get ahead and make a lot of money in this business, because there are so many hours in the day, and with the state regulations and the amount of money that you can make, gets in the way of you making a lot of money by yourself. But if you bring in other people and you have them as their own business, basically is what they are, and they're just working and you're referring jobs to them, that's what it comes down to. You can require them to carry their own insurance, and you might offer to pay them $1 or $2 an hour more if they do carry their own insurance, and you give them incentive, things like that. That's another thing that's worked for me, because a guy would he's going to pay a lot less for insurance than what you're going to end up paying him as kind of an incentive bonus. But if they are listed as their own business, and it's, Joe's handyman is working for Jim's handyman service as far as referrals, then those state limitations and stuff go to him too. So it's so in a sense you're making more money because you can make money on top of that person. There are ways to do it legally, but because you can't, the way the laws are written, you can't do certain things to get around the limits. But if your whole structure and your whole business structure in regards to people that are working the jobs for you is done in a certain way, then you can't just have it this way on this job and this way on this job because, okay, this job is going to be over your limit, so I'm going to, we're going to do it differently on this job. It has to be, set as, okay, you, a certain way. So your guys are not employees one day and then subcontractors the next, basically. So one of the things that you can go on to, the IRS.gov, and you can check, employee versus subcontractor, and there is a list of what makes an employee a subcontractor as far as the things. But basically I've named them. They have to make their own hours. They have to decide how to do their job, when to do the job, where to do their job, and they are working for you temporarily. They don't have to work for someone else, but they have the option to work for someone else. So it's gotten really dark. I'm in the shade. They have the option to work for someone else. So maybe you keep them busy, and they're not going off and working for other people. But if they're not an employee bound by you 100% of the time, then they have the option to go and work for another company or another customer. So, a lot of times my painters will be like that. My painters, I can't keep painters busy all of the time. So they do their own thing. And then when I have a job come up and I need painters, I just reach out, who's available, and I put the crew together. That way, first of all, it's nice because I'm not then having to, worry about supporting them and their families as well. But for them, they, a lot of guys in this business just like that freelance and that way to just be able to go and do their own thing. And, in a sense, it's their own business. So, and you're basically just using your advertising and your business reputation to find them jobs. And that's what it comes down to. And then maybe you're going to make, 10, 15% on top of them, or, 20% in some states is acceptable. And it's basically it's a standard profit and loss formula. And, or maybe you're charging, $50 an hour or $75 an hour, and you're paying them $20 an hour or $30 an hour, and you're making your profit on top of that. You're carrying insurance on them and they aren't, or maybe they're carrying insurance and you're not. So those are all the things that you have to decide for yourself and what's going to work best for your business. But as far as employee versus subcontractor for a handyman business, I'm going to suggest limit the things that you have to do, and use your guys as subcontractors. and just set up your system to where they have flexibility, and then you'll be completely legal. As long as the stipulations and all of those things are, as long as you abide by them, then you are safe, legal, and you won't have any tax implications. So that's my recommendation as far as employee versus subcontractor. This was Flash of the Daily Drive. Take care. Happy home repairs. Bye.